That's a big three, Rich Paul. And let me tell you why else it's a garbage comment by Rich Paul, who, of course, shout out to you, Rich, the king bootlicker that you are.
The king bootlicker that you are.
Fam, strap up, put your vest on in these NBA streets. Facts. Listen, when a man looks into the camera and calls another man a king bootlicker, fam, you know it's serious. And the sad part, I can't say he's wrong. Listen, one of the worst things you could do to a person who can critically think is insult their intelligence. Ladies and gentlemen, Rich Paul, with his latest narrative spin, is toying with our minds, all right, and acting as if we are a bunch of dumb rocks. I'm serious. LeBron James, Rich Paul, and all of the Klutch Sports clients, affiliates, they've been given one mission. And the mission is to make the world believe LeBron James is better than Jordan at all freaking costs. They are willing to sacrifice their honor, their integrity, and their soul for their king. All right, for all you people that has been living under a rock, if you don't know, Rich Paul went on the Pat Mcafee show. His new stomping ground to say dumb shit and get no resistance, and made a carefully crafted comments about the Miami Big Three and super teams. All right. While it is true that Chris Bosh had to sacrifice his game the most of the three, the insinuation that he was more or less the weakest link and therefore can't be considered as the all NBA player he was, therefore they didn't really have a big three, is the biggest pile of horse shit I ever heard in my life. Alright, I came across a clip of Skap Attack on Jason Whitlock's Fearless, and man, he broke it down to a freaking molecule. Today, I'm gonna challenge anyone, whether you're a LeBron supporter or not, who can critically think and keep it real. Prove Scap wrong, fam. I'm gonna play a little bit of what Rich Paul said on the Mcafee show, and then play the main points of what Scap had to say in response. Take a listen, and in a few, we'll be gonna come back and wrap it up. But make sure you stay to the end, fam, because for the really smart people, I'm gonna reveal a revelation about the Miami Big Three that nobody is talking about except my big brother who brought it to my attention. And he happens to be a master critical thinker. All right, check this out.
That's not the end all be all. I always love a big two. I don't really love a big three. I don't really. People talk big three, but the big three thing has never really worked. And you say, well, what happened in Miami? That wasn't really a big three. There was three guys that went in the lottery, and they did really well individually on their team. So they put up big numbers and had big accomplishments. But when you think about it, Bosh was the ultimate professional. He took a back seat, and he played a role in which, because he had such a high IQ and he was such a professional as an individual, his approach to everything is what made that work. When you look in Boston, okay, you can say Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce was a big three. Again, thinking about names, but the way that offense was ran, Rondo's capability during that time, it was a lot different. When you've seen people go for that, it never really worked. And I've had this conversation with several different, owners of teams.
Direct shot at Chris Bosh here, who was an all-star. I believe every year he played with the Miami Heat, but it's not a big three. I think I looked this up yesterday. At one point, Bosh, this is in Toronto, finished 7th in MVP voting 1 year, 12th in MVP voting 1 year, and was an all-star every year in Miami, and seemed to sacrifice his offense to help the team win a championship. Fair comment here by
It's a ridiculous comment, Jason. It's ridiculous on multiple levels, not just because of Chris Bosh. Of course, we know it's a direct shot at Chris Bosh. Just to extrapolate on what you were talking about, Chris Bosh did not make an all-star team in his first 2 seasons in the NBA. Every year after that, until he retired due to health issues at 31, he had blood clot issues. He was an all-star every year. That's 11 straight years as an all-star in the NBA. Yes, he finished second team All-NBA with Toronto. The year just prior to him joining forces with Dwayne Wade and LeBron in Miami. How's 24 points per game and 11 rebounds per game grab you, Jason? That's pretty damn good. And in fact, let me tell you, it was 4th league-wide in player efficiency rating that year. The first 3 in player efficiency that year was LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Durant, and then Chris Bosh. So what you're telling me is you took 3 of the top 4 rated players in the NBA and thrust them on one team? That's a big 3. Rich Paul. And let me tell you why else it's a garbage comment by Rich Paul, who, of course, shout out to you, Rich, the king bootlicker that you are. This guy who was discovered by LeBron James when he was selling jerseys out of his trunk when LeBron was basically like in high school. This guy has just been licking the boots of the king for 20 years now. There's a famous clip after LeBron won the title against Golden State, the first time he started presenting himself as the GOAT. There's a clip where he says, "That one right there that made me the GOAT." There's a little sycophant right next to him, Rich Paul, who said, "For so many reasons." So like this guy has been running alongside, licking the boots of LeBron for years now. So this is just another way to prop up LeBron, kind of. So yes, it's a shot against Chris Bosh, but it's also saying, oh, well, LeBron didn't have any super teams. LeBron didn't have a big 3. BS, Rich Paul. It's a garbage comment by a bootlicker.
So, well, yeah. Look, why not just come out and say that, look, man, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, he's basically saying James Worthy was better than Chris Bosh. He's basically saying, as it relates to Larry Bird, Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale, Parrish being the third leg of that, I would think, better than Chris Bosh. And so what I had Scottie Pippen is what he's arguing, just like Jordan. And I didn't really, there was no big 3. That is what Rich Paul's trying to argue here. But it's nonsense, because I think you could put together an argument that Chris Bosh, on the same level as James Worthy, on the same level as Robert Parrish, and it is a big 3. And he's probably saying the big 3 of KG, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen. But I love the points you made is the end of discussion. Top 4 players the year before in player efficiency.
Player efficiency rating. And if you want to expand, if you want to say that's cherry pick stat, whatever. Okay, fine. Let's look at BPM that year, box plus minus. He was like 19th. He was 18th in value over replacement. He was 17th in win share. He's an undeniable top 15 to 20 player that year, and you put him and made him a third option. That's why it's called a super team, LeBron. That's why it's called a super team, Rich Paul, because you took these 3 jacked elite players in their prime, mind you. He mentioned the Boston thing real quick. Those guys were over 10 years in the league each, the Boston 3, right? They were 12 years, whatever, 10, 11, 12 years in the league, all over 30. Bosh, Wade, and LeBron were 7th year in the league, all under the age of 30. They were all primed, and they were all elite players. They were a big 3, period.
And, why, in your desperate attempt to put LeBron James on a superior level or equal level to Michael Jordan, why damage Chris Bosh? I mean, he seems like a really nice guy. I haven't heard anybody in the NBA really say anything bad about it. And he certainly seemed to have made the most sacrifices. Yeah, I guess you could argue maybe Dwayne Wade surrendering his team, but this is another strike against. The more they try to get that title, the more they harm their argument for that GOAT title.
Because it's just so utterly beneath. Why can he not see how pathetic and how trivial this? It just looks. It's beneath you. Like, you're an elite, all-time great athlete. Why are you begging people to think you're the best player? Why are you consistently jamming it in our face that you think you're the GOAT? He refers to himself over and over again as the GOAT, Jason. It's so off-putting. Like, he released footage on his Instagram or whatever, some social media, last year, right around playoff time. He's playing horse with his kid in the driveway, and the kid is heckling him. And LeBron made a shot. He's like, "What are you talking about? I'm the GOAT, bro. Don't you know I'm the GOAT?" He goes on his other show. He says, well, Bronny can't call his other son. Bronny, of course, we know Bronny now. He can't call me dad when we're at the facility or when we're on the court. He's got to call me Bron or 2-3. He could call me GOAT. If he wants, he could call me GOAT. Like, it's just, why do you just, methinks the gentleman doth protest too much. Like, you keep bringing it up ad nauseum. And the thing is, there is a stunning amount of case against him as to why he does not deserve that title. So the more he brings it up, the more he's basically inciting people like me to build cases of why he isn't. So it's just working against him. I don't know, Jason. I understand he's not smart enough to see this, but why doesn't he have people surrounding him that are?
Woo! Man, salute to Scap, fam. Yo, I hope that dude never sells out and he never changes, because he is sharp. He came with all the smoke, fam. See, these are the types of guests Mcafee should have on his show. But they were never. You know, and I can't unsee bootlicker when I look at Rich Paul. Sorry. How is Skap on here, fam? Explain it to me. And for all you fellow bootlickers who refuse to accept reality and want to bring up other super teams that were formed, let me tell you what my bro said when he heard Rich Paul speak on that. He said, bro, what they don't talk about or what people miss is this. Wade led his team to the playoffs and the chip. Bosh consistently led his team to the playoffs, and so did LeBron. When did you ever see 3 franchise players in their prime on the same team? When he said it, it's like I had a wow moment, like, what? And I was like, yo, you're right. And it made the formation of that team even worse. And they still didn't succeed. You still got smoked by JJ Barrera, Jason Terry? Huh? Wow. Now, for all you anal retentive folks who want to act like they're king, didn't take the helicopter to the top, and didn't form super teams, please explain to me, how do you challenge this, man? I'm waiting. Fam, get in the comments and let the clip off, because this is ridiculous. I really want to hear your take on this. All right? On your way out, do the channel a solid if you enjoyed the video. Smash the like for us. You know what I'm saying? And if you really feeling the vibes and if you really turned up, subscribe and become part of the family. To the next video, don't be a bootlicker. Stay safe and God bless.